Robert Donovan, BT3. We were on our way to Norway in the North Atlantic. I can't tell you exactly where, because one of our destinations was to cross the Arctic Circle and patrol there as well. We fueled up in Norway. And crossing the Arctic Circle, you become a blue nose. It's a tradition because it's very cold. Everything is iced up. All the lifelines are iced up and so on and so forth. But on our way there, we hit a hurricane, and I think it was late November. And it was rough. I mean, we were getting banged around. For 3 days, we just laid in our bunks. And I said to one of our officers, I said, what the hell's going on out here, you know? He says, you ever hear of a hurricane? I said, yeah, but not in December. And it was very bad. Like as I said, you know, we were running out of fuel. I was spending all my time down in the boiler room, stripping the oil tanks, trying to get good oil out of it, not sludge, you know, so we could stay afloat. Otherwise, we were going to go topside. We were going to just belly up. We had to have propulsion to stay afloat. And I'm talking about seas, man, 45 foot, way over the mast and everything. I mean, we weren't getting swamped, but we were rocking and rolling and going in them. It's like, you know, we go down and you look up, you couldn't see anything, yeah. And then we come back up and it's like, you get all jerked around and thrown around. It was very hard to get through the passageways to get to your duty station. So that was tough. And then finally, as I said, we finally got a clear day to take on some fuel. And we pulled alongside a tanker and they highlined the hoses over and we took on as much as we could. They pumped it very hard so they could give us as much as they could. And then after a while we had to break away. And when I went down and measured the tanks, we only got 80% fuel up. I could have used more, but we had to get away. We couldn't take the chance of slamming out there. So finally, after that fuel, I felt at ease, because I was really sweating bullets on that one, you know, because I was responsible for the oil. And after that, I felt at ease, and it's like, geez, I could sleep, because I had spent 24 hours just stripping oil, getting out fuel in the boilers. And then finally, we got a break for a day and a half, 2 days, and then finally it cleared up. It got good. You know, it got normal. Put it that way. And then on that way, after Norway, it was June by that time, after we sailed up around there. And I remember leaving a restaurant in June, midnight, going back to the ship, because we always had to be back by midnight. We couldn't stay overnight in any port, and we always had to be uniformed. Nobody had civilian clothes on board in their locker. It was a no-no. And we're going back to the ship after dinner in this real fancy diner in Narvik, Norway. It's like daylight outside. Wow. Yeah. But that was a beautiful country too. Beautiful country as well. And then there on we ventured up to the Arctic Circle, and I had crossed the Arctic Circle 3 times. And there we moseyed around and we molested Russian subs. We found them, you could hear sonar pinging and bing, bing, bing through the ship, and it would go on for hours. And then as it got better or louder, because I didn't distinguish that much because I'm unfamiliar with it, the ship would go into slow drive and down speed and follow this thing and make turns and whatnot. And the object was to molest them, to let them know that we were there. And we did that a lot. I mean, you know, and then we break off finally. It's like maybe tomorrow or the next day. It's like, okay, he's going back to port. Who knows? You know, I wasn't privy. And then we'd have a couple days free and take out fuel, and they'd send over pallets of food, you know, by helicopter. Because our ship was so small, it had to get fuel, and it had to get food supplies, you know. And then we'd find another sub. And here goes the routine again. Sometimes it would get exciting, and other times it would be routine. But, you know, we would stay on them for days. Yeah, just stay with them for, as long as possible. If we didn't need fuel, we were good to go. We could stay on them for days, and then we'd throw what we call, they used to call it a fish at that time. Another sonar buoy, to get better readings, I suspect. And I remember we threw the trash cans over the side, the bombs in the back, and we did some explosion testing, but I don't think we did that when there was a sub around. You know, we might have done one, you know, far away just to say, hey, we're here, you know, I suspect. But the depth charges, and they were all set differently. We had one guy, you know, we had a fire technician officer. He was in charge of all the fire controls, meaning arsenal equipment, stuff like that. And he would come down and he'd have a couple guys, he'd say, oh, this, that, and they'd set the depth charges for different depths. And I suspect they did it with a dial or a gauge or something, you know. I mean, I didn't see them all the time because I was always working either down below or in my chemical lab shack, you know. But and then they go up, boom, and then one would go away for a long time, and then finally he said, where'd it go? Boom. And we did a lot of that, and I guess the practice makes perfect, and I believe in that. And so we did that, and went on and on and on.